Baker, just talk about your day in terms of passing. You made some plays with your feet. You certainly made plays with your arm. Just week one for you and how this offense went.
Yeah, pretty efficient for the most part. Mentioned it right off the field. We just had to be more efficient in the red zone in the first half. Luckily Chase is pretty dialed in, so it's getting field goals out of that. We'll take points always, but we'd love to be able to score touchdowns. But yeah, guys were really efficient. For the most part, yeah, ball distributed, based on where the defense was dictating. So our guys, they just have to be ready, and they were.
What do you make of that first touchdown catch by Mike Evans?
I don't know how he does it, man. He's trying to put the ball in his vicinity. First one, I don't know how he got around him and put his paws on it, but somehow he did, and that's what he does. I mean, that second touchdown to him was not really a good throw at all. He made an unbelievable play again. It's just when one-on-one coverage with Mike, those aren't 50-50 balls. It's leaning towards Mr. Evans.
You feel like Chris Godwin is back, as Chris Godwin, he had 3 third down catches, I think, right away. The touchdown to get him in the end zone. What was it like to have Chris playing this one?
Chris feels really good right now. I think he'll tell you guys that physically he feels good. And, just this offense, it plays to his strengths. And so he's always been a smart football player. He's willing to do whatever the coaches are going to ask. But this is now his opportunity to really shine, get back to that at least. He's always been a stud. But, yeah, Chris looks really good. So, and, the more J-Mac can come along and some of these young receivers, the better it's going to be for Mike and Chris as well.
You missed J-Mac a couple times. One I think
Yep.
you probably would like to catch, but and then you come back to the touchdown, his first reception. So what was it like kind of hanging with him and getting the feel for him?
J-Mac's an interesting guy. His emotions, it's kind of like a little roller coaster, but it's a fun ride to be on. But just tell him to stay with it. And he handled his first game really, really well. The ebbs and flows of a game, he was locked in the whole time, so he took advantage of his opportunity later on.
Speaking of first games, can you talk about the game that Bucky Irving had? And there were some times where the crowd's chanting Bucky, Bucky.
You know what? It's some of those holes were pretty wide, but Bucky, when he hits the hole, he's hitting it. He hits it full speed, and so it's just good to be able to have somebody come in right after Rashad's being able to make plays and hit it like that. And obviously, I thought the O-line played really well, but when those guys have a chance to make somebody miss one-on-one, it's pretty fun to see.
You talked about this offense giving you more options on the line of scrimmage. Did you use that a lot today, and how much more comfortable are you in this offense and more things it gives you?
Yeah, really didn't have to do too much. I thought Liam called a great game. There were a few protection adjustments just based on what they were doing. A few times when we were checking a play, they'd flip the pressure and things like that. But, yeah, didn't really have to reach into the toolbox too much today. Yeah, Liam called a great game.
In terms of the offensive line, how do you think Graham Barton did in his first game?
Really well. Those two guys they have on the interior, no slouches. So I thought guys played well up front. Everybody did. So we're going to look at the tape, but anytime you're that efficient on offense, the big men up front play well.
Hey, Baker, you use your legs a little bit more often today. Is that by design or just as needed to keep the play in bounds? Because you didn't have too many incompletions on the day.
Just as needed, One of them, when I scrambled, I probably could have thrown it to Cade on the left sideline, but just wound up trying to make a play on third down. But, yeah, it's whenever they drop into coverage, like I said earlier on the pass game, defense coverage is going to dictate where the ball needs to go. And likewise, if I need to scramble out and gain a couple yards.
Baker, do you feel maybe as an offense a little bit more responsibility moving forward considering the defensive injuries that have happened recently? And what can you say about that unit as well to kind of have the game that they did?
Yeah, a few times looking out there and seeing guys that aren't in their right spots. Izzy's playing corner. That guy stepped up big time. You got a lot of guys that it's just the way the game goes, but I thought our defense played lights out. Jaden Daniels is not easy to tackle. He's elusive, man. They stayed with the plan and held him to a lot of points. So I thought the defense played outstanding. They really did.
Baker, not a perfect night offensively, but I have to imagine you couldn't have hoped for too much more out of a Week 1 game in this new offense.
Yeah, there's definitely things that we can work on. Like I mentioned, finishing in the end zone instead of the field goals in the first half. But yeah, we'll look at the tape and get better from it. But I thought we finished really, really strong. To be able to run the ball like we did on the last drive and finish in the end zone, that's a back-breaking drive. And that's credit to the guys up front, receivers, tight ends blocking, running backs hitting the hole. And that's it takes the morale out of the other team.
Baker, you guys have had an awesome off-season, getting everybody back, but they put it all together in game one. But what does it feel like just in terms of moving forward with this team?
That's the standard that this group has. We expect to be able to come out and be that efficient. Every game's going to be different. You know, this is the NFL. It's highly competitive, but we expect to be able to be that efficient on offense. Defense is going to play physical. But yeah, it's good to see that we came out week one, put everything together. And like I said, there's still stuff to work on, but this is a good building block for us.
I know you're going to enjoy this win, but the Detroit Lions are up next. That's a team that you think a lot of these guys.
Jay-Z coming out. Was Nelson back in here?
A lot of you guys have circled it week two.
Yeah.
Just talk about maybe what that game means.
Yeah, you know what? That's anytime you finish the season against somebody on the road, especially, and then you play them early on. It's something that you always look forward to, especially at the competition level. Detroit it's a fun place to play. Dan Campbell always has those guys ready to play. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. There's a lot of things to learn on from this tape, but whenever you're playing them, you expect it to be a really physical game. So we got to be ready for that. Got to be able to handle the crowd noise. But, yeah, like you said, enjoy this win. Never take wins in this league for granted, and then move on.
Baker, you seem to really enjoy that one run for a first down. How do you balance going down or taking on those tacklers?
I tried to juke out Bobby Wagner earlier. It didn't work out. I really don't have it, even though I think I do. But, yeah, later on, if it's a guy coming from the side, you know, just a couple extra yards. But, yeah, ultimately protect myself. Got to be smart.
So about the offensive line performance for today, how do you feel with them? Your thoughts on the offensive line for today's performance?
I feel really confident. You know, like I said, I thought they played really well. That front seven that they have, they bring some different looks, pressures, and just the matchups are not easy, and I thought they played really well.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.